Hello everyone, Nathan here, and today I finally got my hands on the Battlefield 1 single player campaign, and while what's available right now is nowhere near the complete experience, I want to talk today about what I think so far. Now, I'm going to try and avoid story spoilers as much as possible, but I will be talking about some of the mission objectives, and if you want a completely unspoiled experience playing the campaign, then maybe turn the video off now. Right, still here? Great, let's get into it. So, after reading headlines for the past few months saying Battlefield 1 will have the best campaign of any Battlefield game, and more focus has been put into the single player this time, my expectations were pretty high going in, and after a fairly somber 10-minute intro sequence where you control quite a few different soldiers who all die in battle, the action really kicks in. Now, the Battlefield 1 campaign is told as a series of short stories, and the story that's available in the trial version follows driver Daniel Edwards and his tank crew assaulting German defensive positions. Initially, everything is very action-packed. As you move in with the troops all rushing out from their trenches, you really feel a grand scale of all-out war. NPCs are dying all around you, and the intensity of the battle really gave me, at least, a very strong and enjoyable experience. And at the end of all that, there's an interesting scene where you control a carrier pigeon, which I initially thought was just going to be a silly little gimmick section, but after flying over the entire battlefield and seeing the destruction down below that I had just been in, I actually thought it was quite a decent reflective segment. Unfortunately though, things quickly go downhill from there. You and your tank crew find yourself completely alone, somehow, and seem to make a very odd decision to advance on their own. Stuck in the middle of a forest, which looks suspiciously like Endor from Battlefront by the way, and with fog rolling in, you're asked to get out of the tank and scout ahead. In the process of this scouting, you come across several German camps, and despite being just one guy on your own, you have to clear each camp of enemies to advance. This completely goes against what made the earlier section fun and interesting. At the start you were just one soldier, in the midst of killing on a monumental scale. You felt small, and that made everything more tense and realistic. In these camp clearing sections though, you are a one-man army. You kill dozens of enemies with no problem, and it just all seems extremely unrealistic. And the rest of Daniel Edwards' story doesn't really get much better. After leading the tank through the forest and escaping, your next task is to salvage parts in a village which is swarming with enemies. Once again, the one-man army that is Daniel Edwards takes this on his own, which seems even more unlikely than the forest section. Now, on the plus side, this mission is effectively an open playground. A small playground, but an open one nonetheless. And you can choose how you approach the task of neutralising maybe 20 to 30 Germans. This section feels to me like a Far Cry game. You scout out the area with binoculars and mark enemies, then you sneak in, disable alarms which would call in enemy reinforcements, and just kill everyone in sight. Now, I assume it's possible to sneak in and maybe you don't have to kill all the enemies, but that's certainly the way I did it, and I assume the way most people would do it. And it's not overly inspired or original, but it is still a decent amount of fun. Although Christ knows why you can't find all the parts you need in a single engine, and instead have to go to 4 of the damn things, which definitely starts to get a little repetitive. Honestly, if this section was a bit shorter and had a real stealth mechanic that meant that enemies weren't going to notice you and you didn't end up killing 10 people who were actively trying to kill you, it might be a little bit more realistic and more fun because of it. Once you're done with that though, there's only one thing left to do. Now, if you're thinking that's going to be an interesting mission where you meet up with the British forces again to aid them in a big final battle, then think again, you're out of luck. Instead, we effectively have tank horde mode, where you in your one tank will have to take out about 15 pieces of enemy armour and about 40 infantry. You'll quickly find yourself spending your time hiding in cover, repairing your tank, and hoping nothing comes around the corner to blow your face off, and it's just not fun. There's a moment where one of the characters says that the enemy attack wasn't their full force and you should expect more to come, and I just sat there thinking, well, 1, how could you possibly know that? And 2, God, please not more of this. So overall, I feel that the Battlefield 1 single player campaign so far has kind of missed the mark. Its opening segment suggests that the game is going to treat the subject matter with a certain amount of seriousness and realism, but that quickly disappears as by the end of the Daniel Edwards story, you'll probably have racked up about 200 to 300 kills as one man in the space of just a couple of days. Now, it should be said that what's currently available is only a small percentage of the final campaign, and it's certainly possible that the rest of the single player will be better, but at the moment it doesn't bode too well in my opinion. And if you're planning on picking up Battlefield 1, I'd suggest doing it with the intention of playing mainly multiplayer, which is probably what most people are going to do anyway. Fortunately, the small amount of multiplayer I've played so far has been incredibly enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to playing a lot more, which I will be doing immediately after I finish this video. So that's about it for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd be very appreciative of a like down below. Let me know what you think of Battlefield 1 in the comments, and subscribe for more like this if you haven't already. Anyway, I've been Nathan, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.